Hey developers, today we continue our voice recorder application, right? So let me create a voice record manager module so which act like our recording pause and saving functionality of our voice, right? So looks interesting. So let me create a class with context. I'm passing a context as a parameter in constructor, right? So let me create a variable like recorder using media record. So by using this library alone, we can create the voice applications. I am creating that with latent var, right? So which can be initialized in runtime. So if you miss to initialize this variable in runtime, it can cause error. So be cautious. So another time like starting time 0L, which is long value. So create a function called create a recording URI. Here URI is a kind of a audio file which can be formed into a output file. Okay, so just remember that we're going to create a URI file from this with params like we are passing key value params, media store, audio, uh, dot audio, display name. So which is a kind of our output file name. So you can remember that voice underscore system dot current milliseconds, which give us a unique name to our voice files. Similar to that, add more parameters. I'm giving a relative path here. So where the our voice audio file going to store. Okay. So let it be our environment dot directories, no, recordings slash voice recordings of folder name. Oops, we can't use our recordings folder here. So for this I'm going to use music folder concatenation plus. So output files must be in your music folders. Okay, and initialize another variable like is pending to 1. Cool. And note that you need to run it on real device to avoid exceptions because mic may not be available on emulators. Okay, please note that and run on real device. Let's continue like media store, audio, external URI is equal to values. Like I am going to pass context here. Here context is act like a path way by which you can access our file resources. Okay, I'm giving double exclamation which is not null. Okay, You can initialize this recorder variable with media recorder dot audio source of mic. So which initiates that it takes the input file source as mic and output format as kind of MP, that kind of standard format. Okay, make sure you need to add every params to initialize our recorder and output format, output file. Okay, where we are going to store our output file. PF is not found. Oh, just rename is PFD, not PDF. This is a parcel file descriptor by which we can able to retrieve and store our audio files. We need to initialize this as PFD is a latent var. W is a write mode so that we can able to create an output file on that folder. We give not null as W exclamatory. Similar to the start function, we can use a stop recording to recorder dot stop. So release is a kind of a memory allocation purpose, and PFD dot close. This is also some kind of memory allocation purpose only. We revert that value to 0. Oops, we insert right. We need to pass the context here. So let's say here we are going to update so that's fine, and we can finally toast the message to indicate the user that the file has got stored after stop recording. Cool. We need to pass three parameters. First is context, second is message to show, and third is toast.length long or length short. Toast.length long. For our case, I am using length long and dot show. Cool. the hectic functions are done. So we are going to use this in our UI. So once the permission granted, we can start recording. Okay. So for this, I'm going to initialize the instance of our voice record manager here. So let it be a manager. We need to pass a context as a constructor, right? So just give it a stop. We need to give equal to, not by, just give equal. Once the permission is there, we can start recording. So here I am going to use another variable. Okay, let it be a where is recording by remember of mutable state of false. Why I am using mutable state means if the value got changes, the UI need to recompose, which is mandatory for that icon changes and all. Okay, you can see by implementation. If its recording is false, you can start the recording by permission. If it's already recording, we need to stop this. Passing the context. So once started recording, here I am going to use this as this recording is true, and similar to that top play we can give right is recording equal to true. And once we stop the recording, we can change this is recording equal to false. So that will do finally. So here it's kind of icon change based on the recording state. If it's recording only, we need to show these side icons like close and passing icons and all. So I'm going to remove this horizontal arrangement as this icon will come in some scenarios right. So it won't be central line. So I'm using spacer between those icons. If the icon present, it would fine. If else, the mic icon would be central line. Similar to this, the GIF animation here. If it's recording, so the GIF animation, else a static image. Cool. Let's run our project. make sure run it on a real device, not an emulator. Cool. It shows some messages recording is stable. So next part we can show a timer UI on our recording screen. Here the recording timer, the text should be in central line. Okay, so I'm using the top padding like 20, uh, let it say center arrangement and horizontal direction, and I need to give some top padding. Let's run this project. So this is what the UI look like. So we need to update it out every second after start recording. So for this I'm going to use a job function called start timer. Within this I'm going to use a job. So job is nothing but it's act as a separate entity, a separate coroutine which can parallelly update the value. So if already anything is running, so just cancel it out to avoid parallel execution. And here I am going to use dispatchers.main, which is main thread where the UI got updated. So in the same place I am going to update our timer logic, right? So we can update our timer logic here. So delay let be a 100 milliseconds. At 100 each 100 milliseconds, it gonna check and update this. So here, just make a note. I'm going to use a state flow by which the UI can automatically render its current value. State flow of type long. I'm going to use this value. So once the value is assigned, it will got changed at the runtime. So we need to collect this and pass this text value. We need a manager here. Manager's instance. Here I'm going to use the format function, format time, by which output a string in the above format. So let it be a total seconds. By 1000 means 1 second equal to 1000 milliseconds, right? So in seconds we are finding this. So we are just formatting the minutes and seconds here. Dot format of minutes and seconds. So this formatted type can be used on the top UV. Just pass the manager here and run this. So before making the run, I need to initialize the start timer. So I missed out here. Make sure you use the start time. So now run this. You can see the timer which plays after starting. And finally we are going to implement pause play functionalities. So recorder itself has pause functions. So accumulated time, it's kind of passing time.
It's 3 o'clock.
So just save the accumulated time here. Let's say if you again start the timer, it will resume from the past accumulated time. Okay, so that's how it works. So we can use this on UI. Create another variable called display true. Display is a play arrow, else we can sub pause arrow, pause icon. Okay, so just revert this. Here I am going to use a clickable function so that if you can click to execute, what happening is this kind of pausing functions. When we click the play arrow, it will got resume, right? That kind of. If it's currently not playing, so I'm clicking the play arrow, so it will resume. it is playing and I'm clicking the pause so that it records pause. Okay, so how, like that, how it works. So need to toggle the values. And finally, if it's recording and if it's currently in play state only, the animation goes, else stop. Animation plays, play icon, pause, play. Cool, that's how it works. And finally, for the Discord functions, I'm going to create a reset every values on discarding at cancel icon. Click.
It's 12:30.
So once this is a function, so reset all the values. Let it be a try catch to avoid exceptions. If there is any exception, it will catch. To avoid the app crashing, we need to use try catch wherever it's possible. And finally, block will always execute after try catch. Cool. This is the way of double colon to check the latent variable is initialized or not. So this is a hack. Just make it out. Here I'm going to delete the URI, everything. On close click, we need to trigger this. Yeah, is recording false, display is true. It, it reverts back to the normal state. Yeah, that's all about these functions. So you can record the audio now. Hope you love this. Let's see the playing function in export. Thanks.